Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia lost can be found. We're just 2 days away from the game's official release, and hype is at an all-time peak for this game. Preview coverage came out today from a couple of major outlets including IGN, GameSpot, and GameXplain, and these guys are some of the best in the business, so I really encourage you to check out their work, especially that GameXplain preview video. It's almost 20 minutes long. We also found out a launch time for Dragalia Lost, and that's going to be midnight Pacific time on Wednesday, going into Thursday. So the game really is right around the corner. But I still wanted to weigh in with my thoughts on them and my takeaways. I just made a few notes watching these videos. Like I said in my previous video, I think we're getting to the point of diminishing returns with analyzing things. Since the game launches so soon, this will probably be the last video I make talking about details. But for now, these are my 20 thoughts and 20 takeaways on the preview coverage. So first up, I watched the IGN video this morning. One of the first things the video mentioned that's new is in her playtime, Casey mentioned that after completing a few story missions, she was given a free summon, specifically one that guaranteed her a new character. But it would be cool, and it makes sense that this would be a sort of tutorial if you're given a summon that gets you a character right away. The second thing I noticed in the IGN video is that we actually see a wyrmprint, Ring of Exaltation, that's brand new. This is actually the first 2-star wyrmprint we've seen. It also confirms that they're given as quest drops, which we could sort of tell looking at blurry images zoomed up from the direct. Next up, the IGN video mentions that mana circles unlock stories, and the dragon roost unlocks stories as well. So progress through those means isn't strictly mechanical, it's actually going to be unlocking the adventurer stories and dragon stories that we see in the Halidom page. Another cool new detail is that if you have a high enough clear rating, you can spend a certain currency to get rewards from a level without even playing through it. So not even Autobattle at that point. I'm guessing this is going to be skip tickets. That's a currency that's been named so far that we've seen in screenshots released by Nintendo. Next up, we also find out that Autobattle is something that's unlocked. This kind of makes sense, and I think this is actually a good thing. So I mentioned that Autobattle is something you should try in my 10 tips for beginners, but really Autobattle isn't going to be the first way you want to experience a level. So I think it is good that it's unlocked. You're probably going to have a lot more success if you play through a level properly the first time, but I don't know how deep into the story it'll be unlocked. So I would prefer if as soon as you beat a level, you can auto battle that level, but it might be a global unlock where once you clear a certain chapter, like chapter 3, you get auto battle for everything. Alright, so moving on to the GameXplain video, I totally encourage you to check out their video. Andre and Derek did a great job covering it. One of the things I saw right away was that on some of the maps, you actually see little details like fruit in trees. We know that dragons like fruit, so maybe you can actually collect it in level. It kind of doesn't look like it. It looks like when the trees hit, you just get other types of rewards like rupees. But that would be kind of cool if there's a way to just naturally collect something like that. Next up, another big takeaway from this video was around the 2-minute mark, we actually see characters fighting one another. There's a boss battle against Ranzal. So presumably this is going to be how you recruit him into your party. And the biggest thing this indicates to me is the game is actually set up where player characters can fight one another. This really opens the door to something like PvP, because if there's already code in place, a design in place around a player character being a boss, it's quite possible we could have, if not simultaneous, maybe asymmetric PvP. Maybe you set up your character to defend and it uses AI and other people will try to defeat it, something like that. Alright, then Andre mentions the story is linear, but the skip button actually has a nice feature, so if you don't want to read through all of the dialogue, there's a skip button. And that seemed really normal to me, but what he says is, once you skip, you actually get a little summary of the information that you just skipped over. I think that is a cool addition, even if I won't necessarily be using it. Alright, so next up, around the 4-minute mark, we definitely see screenshots of co-abilities in single player. It looks like the UI just hides these once you get into a map. I speculated before that these might be a multiplayer thing, but thankfully it looks like they're in single player as well. The GX crew then starts talking about how snappy and quick the levels are, 3 to 5 minutes. That's the perfect length for me, especially on mobile. It means that this will be a game you can really easily jump into, do a level while you're waiting for something, while you're on your commute, and put it away. Alright, so the next big thing was just before the 10-minute mark in GameXplain's video, we actually get a pretty clear screen of rewards or drops. We also find out that the achievement system for story quests is something called endeavors. So basically, each quest will have 3 endeavors from what it looks like, and you'll get specific rewards from clearing these, presumably the first time you do so. The other big thing from this screenshot though is that we actually see in the top right corner that Zethia is a guest. So this opens up a whole slew of possibilities. Maybe she's not playable, but Zethia will be roaming around the map with you, which is very cool. Maybe you can actually toggle to her and use her in battle, and this would be a great way to give players access to characters that they haven't summoned via the gacha. There could be story missions in which some really cool heroes show up as guests, and if you can actually control them, I think that would really help give players an idea of which characters they want to go for and who they try to summon. Alright, so one slight bummer, although it sounds like Andre is just speculating about it, but he says he doesn't play multiplayer, but it sounds like, unfortunately, rewards will be randomly distributed in multiplayer from what he's heard or what he's going off of. So this was one of my concerns going into the game is, are we going to get the same level of rewards and experience and drops from multiplayer? Because I really want to enjoy multiplayer, but I'm also kind of a min-maxer. I'm somebody who, every time I go through a mission, I want to be getting all my characters' experience. I want to utilize my stamina very well. Of course, that's not going to stop me from playing multiplayer, and thankfully, it sounds like it's still just theory at this point. From there, the video gets into the Halidom, and we actually learn that these stories make sense, but the stories for adventurers, dragons, they're basically backstories. And the fact that there are over 60 characters and over 40 dragons at launch, there's going to be a lot of interesting backstories there. I agree with what GameXplain said that it's really nice to have this level of richness in the character details. Okay, starting to wrap up, around the 13-minute mark, we actually see the axe in the summoning circle explicitly being linked to a hero who's summoned. Now, GameXplain also mentions, or Andre sort of roughly mentions, that weapons might appear here too, but it sounded like he was just describing what gets summoned really broadly to give us an idea of it. So I still think that seeing that weapon is going to mean you have a character, basically. And furthermore, GameXplain goes on to confirm that the Tenfold summon is going to give you a guaranteed 4-star adventurer. Like I said in my 10 tips for beginners, I think this is going to be the one you want to save up for. Besides the daily deal, Tenfold summons are going to give you the best value. Moving on to the last few points, it seems like not only can you auto battle, but there are a lot of quality of life features in Dragalia Lost. So whether you're a beginner or you want to manage everything yourself, there is going to be a way for you to play this game. In this case, we hear that you can auto-complete the mana circle. So if you don't want to spend time going through all the options, deciding if you want that HP plus 9 or that strength boost, you can just auto-complete it. And this echoes something that GameSpot mentions in their preview article, where you can actually auto-build teams, and there's some loose optimization in place to put together a synergistic group. Now, GameXplain does mention that when it comes to Autobattle, at least, the AI isn't the greatest. At least, it seems to be focused on clearing the quest more than maximizing your rewards. So the example they give is the characters just went straight past the treasure chest and headed toward the boss. That's a little bit troubling, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the time to play and your stamina was just going to be wasted, you're still getting more out of your auto battling than you would if you didn't play at all. Okay, and for the last thing, this is a kind of interesting quirk about the game, but apparently data is downloaded per mission. So however small the game is at launch, every story quest that you complete, you're going to be downloading data, and there is going to be an option to use Wi-Fi to download as much as possible beforehand. I definitely recommend you all do this if you have room on your phone. It should make your experience a lot smoother, and it would be a shame to hit your data limit or not be able to play because you hadn't downloaded the story quest that you needed to proceed. Alright everyone, that's going to do it for this video. Like I said, I'm just so enthusiastic about this game. I'm so excited to be building up a community around it. Your positivity, your words of encouragement have really meant so much to me, and I'm thrilled to see our Discord server is growing and progressing, and I'm going to work alongside all of you to continue to improve things. This will probably be my last video until the game launches, so head over to the Discord, follow me on Twitter if you still want to get my updates, and definitely leave a comment below to let me know what excites you most about this game. Are you ready to play? Like I said, these are just my quick thoughts I definitely encourage you to check out all the preview coverage yourself. There's going to be so much content created for this game. It's a really exciting time to be involved, and I'm sure there are more articles coming out as I make this video. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time!